I would like to take a look at this particular problem. This is question 9. I called this one B. Again, the numbering is really kind of messed up on these released items. But on this question, right, here's the misperception I still see. I still see some of us look at this and immediately think, just make the 7 positive, drop the absolute value, and you're good. Please. What we're saying here is that the absolute value of something, this thing, right, the thing that I'm highlighting in the blue, the absolute value of that thing is less than or equal to 14. So less than means it's shrinking in towards me. It's going to be, there's an upper boundary and a lower boundary. It's going to come in less than. And I have to think about those two boundaries, right? So the 3x minus 7, right, it's at negative 14 and positive 14. So again, we've gone through so many different reasons why this is true. At this point, let's just kind of look at the mechanics, right? So on the lower end, we're looking at 3x minus 7, and then I'm going to flip this negative 14. So on the negative side, if this is my negative numbers, on the negative side of the number line, right, I'm having to come bigger than the negative 14, right? Because it has to be less than these distances, so I'm going to be bigger than the negative number, and I'm going to be smaller than the positive number. So I'm coming in this way. So the 3x minus 7 must be larger than the negative 14, and this is less than, and the 3x minus 7 must be less than or equal to the positive 14. So on the one hand, it has to be greater than the negative 14, but then it also has to be less than the positive 14 because it's less than. It's coming in, not greater, not shooting out, but coming in towards us. So if I solve this, right, one thing I got to keep looking for is if I multiply or divide by a negative number, things can happen, but that's not going to be the case here because I'm just going to add 7 to both sides. If I add 7 to both sides of this part, I get that 3x is greater than or equal to negative 7. Therefore, x is greater than or equal to negative 7/3. So I have to be larger than negative 7/3. I can be 7/3 also, negative 7/3, or larger than that. And on this side, when I add 7 to both sides, I get that 3x has to be less than or equal to 21. Therefore, x has to be less than or equal to 7. So it's smaller than 7, but less than negative 7/3. So all the places, right, the x values that work live on the number line. Here's the number positive 7. 7/3 is like negative 2 1/3. So I'll just write it as negative 7/3. Okay, it can be these endpoints. So I'll make it a solid. It can be these endpoints, or anything that connects in between. So those are where all of my x values work. That means that if I plug 0 in, 0 would be a solution. If I put 0 in there, it says the absolute value of negative 7, which is 7, is less than 14, and it's true. If I were to put 8 in there, it would not be a solution, right? The statement would be false. So again, make sure that your work is structured this way. You're thinking less than, and then in the case below here, it's greater, so it's going further away. So in this case, it's going to be more than 7, or it's going to be smaller than the negative 7. And in both cases, we're shooting away from this 5x minus 2. And again, just to start this one, so you can see the procedure, right? 5x minus 2 has to be smaller than the negative 7 because the distance away has to be more than 7. So I want to be, here's the 7, I want to be more than 7 away. Well, and then the other side I have to be more than the positive 7 away. So to say that more than 7 away in terms of absolute value, like here's my 7, negative 7, I have to be smaller than the negative 7 but greater than the positive 7. So that's one side, and it's greater because it's going to go this place or that place. And then I'm just going to write the 5x minus 2 is greater than positive 7. So once I have that down, right, the mechanics is you add 2 to both sides and divide both sides by 5. All right, so I just wanted to talk about those two problems as well.